your task is very difficult. And then we had to deal with the whole thing about the popular culture I was explaining. Because Walter Sisulu in that meeting, remember, we had at 6 o'clock talking about the armed struggle and all of that. He then asked us a question there, what is our relationship with Dr. Kumar? And we looked at each other, we thought these old people, what do we have to do with some soccer player there? And then he said, no. As an organization of the youth, you can never have somebody who's popular like that and has got no relationship with the movement. He doesn't have to have a relationship by membership, but relationship nje. Ahlale kubona ukhona. Uyabona ngokuma uqeda ukunifonela la, but ngiyaqonda ukuthi ndenza umsebenzi kaKholeni. So you can never have somebody Onjalo who's popular. It was Mandela, it was Coca-Cola, it was Dr. Kumalo, and it's good, it's nice. And then the Youth League started to throw these nice parties around, but it doesn't mean that you've got to lose your identity and now start to be Maho and then lose your identity. Among the youth and the populace of the country, we are a political formation. When young people want answers about the political situation in the country and they are naive and they don't know, they must come to the Youth League. They cannot go to Julius. They must come to you and ask, what is this GNU? They don't know. These young people don't know politics and they are popular. Amapiano and everywhere else. Those answers, they must get them from us. And how you navigate that space is not to drown in it, is to stay close. ANC leadership didn't like this because we used to organize parties on our birthdays, and then before the era of the Instagrams, the leadership didn't understand. The leadership didn't understand Kwaito. Ask Malusi. We had to teach them. Because our Oscar bebethukana. Uyabona? Bebethukana ngale Kwaito abantu abadala bathi ayisuka. We brought it to the ANC. For the first time in 2009, when COPE was trying to get to the youth through popular culture, we dominated. It's not permanent feature that every election you must employ that tactic we employed 10 years ago in that campaign. It changes all the time. All the good things they learn from us because we are able to adapt. So you can march. You should march. You don't have to ask sometime. You ask a lot. And then don't be irritated when you speak and then we call you. We were called like that many times. It happened to Lulu. I don't want to talk about his experience. He's here. He should have spoken about it. He didn't speak about it. It happened to Peter. It happened to me. It happened to Malusi. In my own experience, I escaped DC because I said women are paraplegic. And then I was supposed to go to the DC of the ANC. And the SG of the ANC defended me. That no. And it was linked to the ANC National Conference because we were opposed to the president third term. And we became aware that in that third term opposition, we were joined also by Wounded Lions who joined our popular campaign. We brought them in and we accepted them because when we went to Pulugwan and we said no to 2 centers of power and no to third term, it's because comrades went to Comrade Mbeki and then they said to him, you are still young, what are you going to do? Continue. And we were telling the whole of Africa that we, the ANC and our leaders, 2 terms is enough. So these ones, they said, no, at an organizational level, the president can continue, and then the ANC can have another president. We said, what principle guides that? Except just people's feelings. Who said that the president cannot be replaced? We didn't fight President Mbeki personally, but there are others who were fighting him because they could not handle him at an ideological level, including in the alliance. In the alliance, the outcry then, we had a very, very intelligent president of the ANC. One time I found myself in the toilet with Peter Mgaba, and then he said to me, what are we going to do? I said, what? He said, this president is too intelligent, more than all of us. It's dangerous for the revolution. I said, how is it dangerous? Is it not beneficial? He said, no, that is wrong. It's a problem. This man is too intelligent. He's too intelligent. It's a problem. And then that is the kind of president we had, Comrade TM. Others came because in the alliance, they said, no, the president takes decisions unilaterally. Because the president was engaging. And one time in the meeting of the alliance, we found ourselves in a meeting with President Mbeki. Other comrades were still coming. But the alliance component, all of them were present. They were there in the meeting at Shell House. And then as part of the Youth League, we're part of the delegation. So we arrived with the president. So they said, no, how are we going to start the meeting? Because the ANC delegation is not all of them here. It's COSATU and the Communist Party, Bomadisha. So we raised the hand there in that meeting. No, the delegation will find us on the way. The man you want, Kiwo, is around. Let's start, because you say the problem is the president. Let's start. Here is the man you want. And then President Mbeki presented a discussion document for that meeting. I think the title was Domestic and International Setting Analysis. In the meeting. And then the ANC was too strong for the allies. I'm saying it boldly and openly to you. So when we went to Polokwane, because of that, other comrades joined us because they wanted to get rid of this nemesis called Thabo Mbeki. And then we, at that time, were very principled on what we wanted to achieve. Don't blame us on the candidate. We feel that we wanted Zuma. So I was with Sidle. We went to Mbeki. That's where our friendship with TM ended. It was Monday morning. So I'm concluding on that part. It was Monday morning. The NEC of the Youth League had decided. We never took decisions and not briefed the ANC. We took a decision that no to 2 centers of power, no to third term, and then we were now developing a document which we developed, and then we took that document to the ANC. And then we had to brief the leadership on leadership issues. So I was mandated with him as SG and president. So we arrived in the morning, Monday morning, we briefed TM. That, as the Youth League, we have decided that, you must not come back as the third term. Yeah, no, we're not gossiping. You must not come back. And then, we are still discussing names. But we'll come and brief you about it. That meeting didn't end. And then TM said, Chiefs, please, can you go, man? Please. I don't know, why are you in a hurry for this? Why is the Youth League in a hurry for this? Out of so many things, youth development and so on, you just come here and discuss leadership. Chiefs, we have got to go to a meeting. Thanks. Hey, we left with this man. Now, we were saying, this is how OR and Mandela were dismissed by Kuma. And then in the morning, and then they had to walk. In the early hours, but we didn't have to walk. We had to take a lift to the 7th floor. And then the president dismissed us. But that's what happened. But that's not the only thing. Even the eye of the needle, it was the product of the Youth League. In Mafikile conference of the ANC, when everybody left the ANC, went to government, our first conference we convened was in Mangaung, Bloemfontein. And that conference elect Bantu Olomisa as number 1 in the additionals. We then saw there's a problem with this organization. We can't have Olomisa ahead of our leaders. Just imagine our conference as number 1. We said there is a problem of leadership. We went to Lutuli House and produced a document called Organizational and Leadership Issues. First time, you must go to Google. And then we started to characterize the problems of the ANC, subjective and objective weaknesses of the ANC, forcing a discussion in the organization. And then we started to say, no, leadership has forgotten about the organization. They've all left. They are enjoying blue lights. They are in government and all of that proper. That document tabled by Phoebe and Malusi on our behalf in the working committee. We went to the NEC of the ANC. We took it to the national conference. The eye of the needle was born because of the ANC Youth League. So, Youth League has always made strategic interventions in the life of the African National Congress. Not howling. The period of howling came with Julius. And the reason Julius we differed because other comrades wanted Saki. And then we said, no, Julius must come in. We cannot have presidents of the Youth League who are over age all the time. But the person who wanted to be president was Songes. And when we win in Pulugwani conference, Songes will come to my room. We won yesterday, we had a party, we were Papa last. And then he came to my room and then he started to say to me, hey, President, what do you think about the conference? Did it end out? I mean, we come from a hectic thing like this. You want us to discuss the Youth League conference? We'll discuss it at home. I know. He kept coming back. And then I just said, no, I think Julius must take over. Yo! He came to Joburg, convened everybody during December. No, that president is a problem. He wants that boy from Limpopo to take over. But I motivated that, look, why? We will train him, but it is time that Songes, we must leave Youth League to the youth. We cannot leave the Youth League all the time at the age of 37. And then the Youth League president all the time. Peter Mugaba left the Youth League, he was old. We only discovered at this party that he was 40. This man, he's been leading us over age. So, we said, no, man, let's prepare this. Of course, we differed. Others argued for tradition and all of that. And obviously, the preparations for that conference at the political level, we cannot be proud of because the membership was a disaster. People were showing buttocks there and all of that. Now, howling and not engaging began to be the talk of the town of the Youth League that is not engaging. And then did not reflect militancy. Whilst we're still working on that, the Youth League was disciplined. And Malema was expelled. We went to the DC of the ANC. That's where the thing started to go wrong. Because the reason why I was defended, Khalima said, you cannot doubt the bona fides of the Youth League president. The Youth League president is a Youth League president. He defended our autonomy, not Mbalula. And then he started to give me politics. Why? I must not call women paraplegic. Because those women, when I arrived there in that meeting where I was arguing paraplegic, I was speaking English, I said it's figurative speech. And then there was Mavivi Miyaga that side, and then he looked at me, she cried. It was as though I'm referring to her. And then Khalima said, as the SG, the ANC will apologize on behalf of the ANC, which is what he did. But comrades, he was defending our autonomy. That's why when we apologize on behalf of the ANC, when Colin has said something wrong, it's not like we are defending the Youth League autonomy, because it is through the Youth League we learn, fight and produce. There's no other learning platform. There's no other learning platform in the ANC other than the Youth League.